be here today.
Hey Zion, we took a few weeks off, but we're back, and it's going to be an action-packed podcast today.
I tell you what, man, we've been getting a lot of paddles. Companies are not sleeping. They're just popping them out, and have a lot to go over today.
Yeah, we've got a ton of paddles to go over. I've received a few from Selkirk and also from Friday, so I'm looking forward to hitting those tonight, actually, and I'll be able to give some good feedback on the next pod. But I know you've been hitting a ton of paddles, so let's jump into things.
Yeah, let's see. Today we're going to go over a little bit of news. We're going to go over the new RPM paddles, the V2 and the Q2, some Friday paddles, the enhanced turbos, the new Joolas, and then we're going to finish off with another top 10 list of just what I've received in March alone.
And we're only on March 10th, so barely 2 weeks into the month. Ton of paddles here.
Yes, it's been crazy. If you want to see all the paddles that we're getting, make sure to follow us on Instagram at the Volley Zone because we do a first look video when we get new paddles. We show it off to you so that way you could see kind of what's upcoming and what we have. So that way, if you want to ask our opinions, then shoot us a message.
Yeah, my favorite part of that content is looking at your manicure you get every day.
If you know, you'd know. But all right, hey, let's go over some news. Did you see what happened this morning, buddy?
I did see. So, Catherine Parenteau leaving Selkirk. What do you think about that?
You know, Jimmy Miller mentioned it a couple months ago, so it's not super surprising. But I assume she must have maybe found another paddle sponsor, which is why she's finally posting online that she is leaving Selkirk. I don't know. Who do you think?
Yeah, I've got a couple predictions here, but I want to see the viewers post down in the comments below who Catherine Parenteau is going to sign with next. So
Dude,
my
I have no idea. What's your guess? I don't know.
Yeah, my top two predictions. So my first is Skechers, right? So we saw Skechers get an approved paddle on the UPA list, and obviously Skechers is a huge
Right.
sponsor of CP and also Tyson McGuffin. So I'm wondering if they're going to sponsor her, not only in shoes and clothing, but the paddle as well.
I can't imagine that Skechers is going to have a better paddle than the Boomstick right off the bat, but we'll see.
We'll see. Hey, Skechers, slide in the DMs. We can test it for you.
Exactly. That's a really good prediction. I forgot about that new paddle they got approved. What's your second guess?
Yeah, my second is 11,624 because I think that they're
Really?
looking for a female player to sign. I listened yesterday to Kyle and David's little interview, and he mentioned that they're going to be signing a couple more players, and I know he mentioned that he was looking at potentially a female player as well, in
I
addition
have
to
not
Deckle.
listened to that. Look at you, the inside scoop. Yeah, that would make a lot of sense because the Hirache X shape is pretty much the exact same shape as the Boomsticks. That's what she would be used to. So that would make a lot of sense.
Who do you think she's going to sign with?
Dude, I'm gonna hop on your bandwagon, man. I think either of those would be great options. That would make a lot of sense from CP, and I'm excited to see where she goes because she's a pretty big name in the marketing world. She does a lot of pretty good content, and she was the face of Selkirk for a while.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I'm always interested what these contracts look like, right? So maybe a few years down the line we'll get some details, but it's got to be expensive to sign these pros.
Yeah, I heard Jack Sox was like 500,000.
Makes sense. He's worth every bit of that, huh?
I don't know. Boomsticks do sell like crazy, I guess. I don't know
That's
if that's
true.
because of Jack or because of it's a good product. A little bit of both, I guess.
Yeah, I would say a little bit of both. But
Yeah,
talking a little
but I
bit
tell you
about,
what, I'm going to PPA this weekend. It's here in Texas at the courts of McKinney. So I'll go ask CP for you and let you know which one of your guesses was right.
perfect. Yeah, let us know. Are you going to be playing as well?
Yeah, I think I'm doing 4 or 5 mixed, so it'll be a good time.
Nice. Good luck. Well,
Thank you very much.
talking about tournaments, you and I recently played in a couple tournaments this past weekend. Do you want to talk a little bit about your experience and how you did?
Yeah, man, it was a good time. We had a tournament at one of my facilities called Pickleball Power Play. They're starting to go a little bit more national all over in the southern states. They're a good group of guys. Shout out to Daniel and Jeff. But it was a really good time Friday night. I did mix, and we didn't do as hot, but man, I was ripping some thirds. So, the next night, Saturday, when it was men's, there was a lot of the same guys there. And so they ended up targeting my partner, Joe. And Joe stepped up to the plate. As soon as Joe gets up to the net, he's one of those super long and lanky guys that reaches in and takes everything out of the air and just puts it away really, really good. So Saturday night was pretty chill for me because they targeted Joe, and Joe just hit out of the park. We went undefeated and ended up winning the 4-5 plus division, and it was a great time.
Nice. Did your duper go up or down?
My duper went up slightly, and I used straight out of the box a Pro 5 Cosmos. So I'm officially a fan of the Cosmos after the first day of using it, winning a tournament.
Wow, that's pretty impressive. Did you weight it up at all or no?
Yeah, just some of the little corners and the flick weight on the bottom, and it was good. The night before in mix, there was a lot of speeding up and no dinging, and then in men's there was tons of dinging. So the Cosmos was really good for that. It's a consistent paddle with a good sweet spot and good resets. So in terms of consistency and kind of some grinded out dink paddles in men's, the Cosmos was a great paddle for that.
Nice. I'm looking forward to testing the Pro 5s this week with some weights. I didn't get a chance to. I was using them stock. I had a tournament this past weekend, so I didn't want to mess around too much.
Dude, didn't you have 2 tournaments in one day?
Yeah, 2 tournaments in one day. So we hosted a
How's your body holding up? I would not be able to do that. 2 in 24 hours was like back-to-back nights. Was that Sunday? I was like pooped. I took like a 3-hour nap. I don't know how you did 2 in one day.
Yeah, I played Saturday, and then on Sunday it hurt to exist. Basically, is how I describe it.
Yeah. How'd you do in them?
Yeah, they were really good. So we hosted at Hudson Valley Pickleball, the indoor facility that I work at, a 5.2 duper open co-ed division, and then I also played in mixed. So in men's, there were 21 teams. It was a cash prize of $2,100, and we ended up losing in the semifinal game to the eventual gold medal winners. We lost 15-17. So really close match. Definitely came down to the wire. We definitely could have won it, but it was a really good experience. I played with my buddy Jonathan, who I've been playing with for the past couple months. It was our first tournament, so it was good to get some tournament experience under the belt, and we're looking to schedule out a couple more in the near future. But we ended up losing in the bronze match to the team that beat us in pool play. They sort of crushed us in pool play, 11-4, but then the bronze match was best 2 out of 3 to 11, and it was a bit more competitive. I think game one was 9-11, and then the second was like 6-11, something like that. But it was really good. Good experience with Jonathan. And then right after that, I played in mixed with Sabrina. Again, 5.2 duper under. So no 5.2 plus players, which was really nice. And I feel like I'm sort of right at that level. So I felt really good going into the tournament. Sabrina is the top woman around this area. So I had a really good partner. She makes it really easy to play with. And there were 10 teams, cash prize of $1,000, and we ended up taking gold. We went 8-0 on the day, so it was really good.
Making some money, man. What paddle did you use?
Yeah, so I ended up using the RPM V2 16 millimeter. So I was having some problems with my 14 millimeter. I suspected that it was starting to core crush, and so I switched to it in men's. And yeah, this thing took me home in mixed, ton of pop. Some really good resets at the kitchen that and in transition that Sabrina had commented on, so I think that aided to it. But yeah, really solid. We cleaned up pretty well. We had a couple close ones, and we actually had one close one in pool, which was 15-13, I think. But then after that, it was pretty smooth sailing.
Nice, man. Well, congrats. That's phenomenal. I want to get to your level. I've won probably a dozen 4-5 tournaments, and every time I do a 501, I get smoked pretty good. So I need some tips. It'll be a good. I need some help getting up to that where you're at.
Yeah, definitely would love to give you some tips. And I did hit 5-0 on Duper after getting knocked down. I don't know if the camera can see that, but yeah, I did hit 5-0. So now I can officially say I'm a 5-0 player.
You're a big deal. You're
Big deal confirmed.
nice, man. Well, congrats. Well, let's get into some battles. Speaking of RPM, you guys sent a Q2 And why don't you go over the Q2 real quick? And then I have a V2, and let's talk about how these are different and how you like the play style.
Yeah, so shout out to RPM. They sent me a 14 millimeter Q2 elongated to test right before launch. So if you want to see my quick 60-second take, you can check out our Instagram at Volley Zone PB. But basically, this plays like a boomstick, just a bit more poppier because it's a 14 millimeter version. I haven't received the 16 millimeter version yet, and it's going to be some time till they get some units for that. But I suspect that's a little less poppy. This played extremely similar to the boomstick. I feel the boomstick was a little too poppy for me in transition, especially on this 14 millimeter version. Probably a little too much, but definitely would take some time to dial in. But extremely good performance paddle, tons of power, pop, and spin. If you're looking for top of the line and you want to pay more, like $150 less than a boomstick, this is a great option at 212 after code.
Code Volley Zone.
Code Volley Zone. We're starting to get some affiliate codes.
Loving it. Hey, did you put any like weights on it, like an MOI weight or anything like that? Like what you would do on a boomstick?
Yeah, so I didn't go quite at the top, but I've got about 5.5, 1 gram inch tungsten at the
Oh,
bottom.
okay.
That's my normal setup for 14 millimeter elongated paddles, and then on the V216, I have 5.5 grams of half inch, or so sorry, 5.5
Smart.
inches of half gram at the bottom. So that's how I like to set up the 16 versus the 14 millimeter versions.
That makes sense. Yeah, I'm a big fan of the boomstick. I've been playing a lot with the boomstick, so I'm really excited to be able to get the Q2 because I like the standard shape. And so I'm excited for like a boomstick kind of in a different shape to try it out. And the grit on this V2 is awesome. So I'm hoping the Q2 has the same type of grit on it.
Yeah, feeling both of the models here, it's the same. So I would expect very similar grit levels on each of the models.
Yeah, the Q2 is an all foam paddle. They did multiple types of foam. They have some foam in the corners. They have some foam waiting here. That's called TPP, which is more elastic. They have EPP foam in the center. They have an EVA foam ring around the outside of it. So they have like 4 or 5 foams around there. John Q helped pretty much design the whole thing, and so it is quite really cool, fantastic engineering in the Q2 that ends up just turning into like a boomstick and a different shape that looks really good. So I'm excited to try it out. This V2 is still a Gen 3 paddle. Now, what they did differently was they changed the handle. It's a little bit more rectangular, which I like a lot for my style. I feel like I'm able to rip it a lot better. And then they also changed the carbon fiber layup on it. I'm not sure what they did, but it's not 90 90 90 anymore, or 91 80 90. They changed it up a little bit. They haven't told me what it is, but it does feel a little bit different. It feels like it grips the ball a little bit more. And then they also, I think they changed the edge guard a little bit because it feels sleeker. It almost feels like a 15 millimeter paddle, even though it's 16 millimeters, but it doesn't feel as bulky. It feels sleek. It feels like you could whip it through the air. It feels crisp upon contact. I'm really liking this paddle a lot so far, and clearly Nick is, as he won a tournament with it.
Yeah, I only had some limited reps with it on Tuesday before the tournament, but I felt pretty confident picking up out of my bag. And yeah, shout out to vinyl style edge guards. These things look sweet. So got the red around the corner.
Nice, man. That's nice. Well, talk to me about these Aura paddles.
Yeah, so we've got the new Friday Aura. I've got the Pro. I haven't had a chance to hit it yet. I'm actually playing tonight, and I plan to hit the Pro tonight. But these are also full foam paddles, and I know you've been loving the regular Aura. So do you want to talk to us a little bit about how the two may differ and what you've experienced so far?
Yeah, the Aura Pro is a little bit more hollow and springy when you hit the middle. It feels pretty similar to a Vatic VSOL Pro to me, whereas the regular Aura is a little bit more dense, not as hollow sounding, but you definitely get a lot of touch and feel off of it. So my drops were money with it, my resets were money. It just doesn't quite have as much power or kind of like that exponential Gen 3 hollow boomsticky feel from the Aura Pro. So overall, I think I like the consistency of this one a little bit better. The sweet spot seemed to me a little bit bigger, but both of them seemed like really solid paddles. Good bang for your buck for 169 and 129, and that's before a code. They've probably come down a couple bucks after a code.
Yeah, Friday's doing some really interesting things. They've been making a big splash. So after they signed Kyle Kazuda, they signed Rachel Rohrbacher, and now they're launching some really good, paddles in the $100 to $150 range. So yeah, they're doing some really big things, and they're making some waves in the paddle enthusiast section of pickleball players.
Yeah, I'm excited to see your thoughts. I didn't know you hadn't hit it yet, man. You've been so busy with the tournament, huh?
Yeah, I've been locked in. Yeah, I trained Tuesday and then I trained Thursday with Sabrina, and that's when I practiced with the 60 millimeter RPM. So wasn't doing too much tinkering this past week, but we got a bit of a break. I don't have anything on the books, so probably won't schedule anything until like late April, early May. So I've got some, a few weeks to test some paddles now.
Nice. Yeah, we have some paddles on the way to you, so you got a lot to try out.
Yeah, talk to us about what's coming next.
Well, geez, you know what just came out this week is these enhanced turbos, and you sent me an MPP, but you have all of the shapes. I think the MPP is the standout in terms of performance, but then in terms of kind of catching your eye, it's this EPP hybrid shape. What the heck is that thing?
Yeah, so I want to shout out Enhance for sending a few models of each of the MPP Turbo and then the EPP Turbo. So the sales rep told me that I was only one of 3 retailers selected to sell their paddle. So definitely honored there. The MPP Turbos flew within an hour of me posting that we had them, and then so we've got the EPP turbos next. But yeah, this is a hybrid shape, which is really interesting. I call it the lollipop shape. It's definitely eye-catching. The stats on it are really good. We'll probably throw them down in the description below. But John Q posted a really good initial impressions with the stats, and he said that they were all very middle of the road, twist weight, swing weight, balance point, etc. So really solid stats, although the shape wouldn't tell you it is so, but it's got an extremely long handle. I don't even have to put my pinky up on the paddle and there's still room. But you can two-hand grip this thing all day.
That to me is like a trainer paddle. Like if you want a warm up trainer paddle, that might be, but you don't like the super small ones. That's a upgraded trainer paddle is what that is to me.
Yeah, the face looks super small, but I'm interested to play this. I haven't gotten my hands on demos just yet because they had limited stock to start. But maybe I'll have to rip the plastic off one of these and give it a shot.
Yeah, I know you hit around with the MPP. What do you think about that one?
Yeah, so I hit it on the Dink Master and feels extremely similar to the Luz Inferno. And I think we also posted a 60-second impression video on that. But so these retail for $110, and then after code Volley Zone brings it down to 99, which is insane value if you're comparing it to the $230 price point of the Luz Inferno.
Yes, to me they're a little bit more stable because of the more rectangular shape than the Inferno, but not quite as much pop or power. So slightly less firepower, but they're thonky. They sound like an Inferno. They feel the most similar to an Inferno of any other MPV paddle I felt. It's just slightly less firepower, but a little more stability.
Yeah, I'm gonna make
And way
a
cheaper.
true. I'm gonna talking about price point. I'm gonna make a bold claim that this will be budget paddle of the year, even though we're only in March.
Yeah, it's not bad. I played only 2 or 3 games with it yesterday, but I have not added weight yet, and I think a little bit of weight. Foam paddles, I feel like typically do better from some weight in the middle here for a little more pop and consistency. So that's where I'm going to try it out, and then I'll let you know what I.
Yeah, for me, all these paddles just get a strict upgrade with weight put on them, so I never have too much stock in what a paddle plays with stock or with no weight.
Okay, well, let's get back into it. So yeah, those enhanced turbos are going to be awesome, and they're really good. I think budget paddle of the year is a good prediction. But let's talk a little bit about some Pro Fives. Everybody's had them for a week now. What's been the feedback?
Yeah, for me personally, it's a mixed bag right now. I haven't gotten a whole lot of time on them. Definitely haven't gotten enough time to tinker, but I did start to see a few of them in the 5.2 Duper tournament that I played this past weekend, and people at Hudson Valley Pickleball are loving them. They're flying off the shelves online, flying off the shelves. So if you're interested in one, definitely send us a message. We can hook you up. But yeah, um, demo night went really well. Sold like 10 out of the 12 people that came for the demo night. So really high success rate there. Um, at the higher level, it seems also like a mixed bag. Players aren't too sure if it's an upgrade to the Pro 4. You had some players switch to the RPM, so they're comparing it to how it has similar dwell and soft feel-ish as RPM compared to the Pro 4, which has that stiffer, poppier feel. But for me, I need some more time on it to really decide. And I need some time to tinker with some weight, especially on the Cosmos. I want to give that shape a real chance at doubles for me. So you obviously won a tournament with one, so you're liking it. So tell us your feedback so far.
They're good. I think they have slightly less firepower than the Pro 4, but I think Joola keeps using the term precise power, and I think that's actually pretty accurate. You could feel the crispness of the ball and shape it well and make it go where you want it to go. So this paddle for me has been really fun for angles and kind of targeting certain spots and getting it down to people's feet. But I'm not kind of overpowering people with it like I might with some other paddles like a Cyclone or maybe a Boomstick or even the RPM V2. So it has slightly less firepower, but man, the ball goes where you want it to. It has fast hands. It's swift. I think it goes. It's fast in the hands. It's a lighter swing weight to me, so maybe a little bit more customizable. But in general, definitely really solid paddle. Worth $300. I don't know. I think Joola gets a lot of good marketing and good brand hype, but I think the edge guard looks cooler than the Pro 4. So if you like the stability and the firepower of the Pro 4, great. If you didn't feel like you can control the Pro 4 and you want to feel the ball a little bit more and you want the ball to go where you want it to, then the Pro 5 might be better for you.
Yeah, I am struggling a little bit with the price, but we do have to keep in mind that Yola invests heavily in the pro game. And I wanted to shout them out because they recently sponsored a school program in New York City. And so they're providing a lot of nets and paddles to underprivileged kids, and trying to grow the game that way. So you're not only getting a really good paddle and a performance paddle, but you're investing in the future and pro game of pickleball. And I think sometimes that's lost on the price point. And Yola is by far investing the heaviest in their pros and then also the pro game and then at the amateur level as well. So I think that's important to recognize.
That's a really good point. Yeah, Yola gives back to a lot of clubs, to a lot of schools, to a lot of things, and international too. Malaysia, Philippines. I see them all over the place.
Yeah, that's a very good point. All right, Zion, I think that wraps up our paddle showcase for the agenda. And now we're going to get into your top 10 paddles that you've hit in the past couple weeks. Why don't you give us the breakdown?
Oh man. All right. Let's do this. Top 10 paddles of just in March. What we've received so far. It's going to be good. At number 9, we have the Luz Pro Blade 2. This thing is similar to a carbon Thomas Wilson 12 millimeter or a Selkirk Power Air. It's very skinny, very thin, feels kind of like a 2x4 board. It's good for drives, maybe a singles paddle, but besides that, that's about it. So not a big fan, but it does look really cool.
We did see Chris Hayworth win gold in singles, right? But then it looks like he put it down and he's now using the Tornazo.
Tornazo, yeah. I think it's a good singles paddle, but I wouldn't blame him if he switches to Tornazo in doubles, but he's using Tornazo for both. So I think a lot of people will buy the Luz Pro Blade 2 and then realize it does not have the same feel as other MPP paddles and will return it or sell it. So that's my prediction. Sorry, Luz. Number 9, We have the Honolulu J6CR H. I got the H because I wanted a little bit more pop, but I actually don't like it. I think the fiberglass layer makes it a little bit too stiff. I think the J6CR all around is a fantastic paddle, really good resets, great control. I love the shape, but I would actually prefer the original one instead of the H. So this one is at number 9 for me.
Yeah, that's unreleased right now. A lot of people probably haven't seen that, but the yellow is super interesting from Honolulu.
Yeah, all it means is an extra layer of fiberglass, so it's a CFC layup. And I heard last I heard they weren't actually releasing it, which might actually be a good thing. So we'll see. Number 8, the enhanced MPP Turbo. Like I said, I only have about 3 games with this thing, but it has a lot of potential, especially after I weighed it up, and it feels good. The question is a Inferno better? I don't know, but this price is way better. It's half the price of this thing. And the people that I played with yesterday actually really liked how it looked. They said it was unique and caught their eye, and they liked the green color. So some good feedback there.
Yeah, the green is cool. It's a little bit different than the teal from 11.624. I don't think we have a whole lot of paddles that are in that green color spectrum.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, the rest of these paddles are just so good. I could play with paddles 1 through 7, the rest of the list, in a tournament tomorrow. There's just so many good paddles in the market right now. So it was a really hard choice. All of these are really close together. But at number 7, I'm going to do the Joola Pro V Perseus. Why? Because I think I just like the Cosmos a little bit better. The sweet spot's better on it. But the Perseus does have faster hands. So those are the big differences between those two for me, besides the slightly longer handle. There's nothing wrong with this paddle. I like it a lot. Not quite as much firepower as I want, but sometimes I've been getting a lot of good angles and spins with this paddle. So, man, there's so many good paddles in the market, and this one is crazy to land at number 7.
Yeah, I've been trying the Cosmos and the Perseus the most, and I was sort of leaning Perseus over Cosmos after right now, but I definitely want to give that Cosmos more of a fair chance.
Yeah. At number 6, we have 11.624 Vapor Power 2, and we just ordered some Pegasus and Hirache. So if you need any, let us know. But man, this is a great paddle. The sweet spot is fantastic. This has actually become my wife's new main because the sweet spot and the shape is just so big. The spin is fantastic. It's also got an MPP core, which is a little bit on the unknown. Most people don't know that, but it's a little bit less spunky than an Inferno or something like that. But man, I like this paddle a lot. I think this is another really good, consistent type of like grinded out men's doubles type of paddle where you just are gonna go dink. You're gonna be consistent with it. The sweet spot's fantastic. The resets are really good, and all around, I have nothing negative to say about it. It's great, except maybe the shape. Shape's a little weird, but that's just the vapor shape. The paddle itself is fantastic.
Yeah, it's been getting some really good feedback, and it brings me back to the days where I was using the original Vapor Power. So definitely a fun paddle to play with, and yeah, like you mentioned, we got some on the way. 11.624 is sending me some demos to try, so I'm looking forward to hitting those.
Yes, yes, I'm very excited for the Hirache X shape. It'll be good. Okay, at number 5, we have the new Vulcan paddle. When's the last time we talked about a Vulcan paddle? It's been years. But man, is this thing good. It is soft, yet still hollow. Very unique feeling foam paddle. Nick, I got to get your hands on one of these because they are cool. They come in 3 different shapes. This is the hybrid. This thing is called Dark Matter. I don't know why. I feel like it should be called like Bright Blueberry or something like that. But then you have the Nick Kyrgios paddle. Both of these are fantastic. The wide body is pretty sweet too. But I've even put some weight on it. And both of these are very, very unique paddles. And I think Vulcan has gotten themselves back in the paddle game with these Chapter 001s.
Yeah, we haven't talked about Vulcan in a long time, and certainly not in a positive light. So it's interesting to see them coming back with a good performance paddle. I think those are going to retail at 250. So that they're definitely coming in at the performance range. And
They
yeah,
are.
the pros are talking pretty positively about them, but it's good to hear that they're living up to the hype.
Their launch date is tomorrow, the 11th, and picklers only. So if you want any, let me know. I do have some in stock now.
Pickler
Okay, this is
exclusive.
going to be a surprise. Pickler exclusive. You're right. You can't even order them online until the 17th. So the next week, you got to go through me. That's right. Now, number 4 is one that not many people have heard of, but it is a local guy, a veteran from San Antonio area. It is called Combat Pickleball, and this is the DEFCON 1. Now, this guy now sponsors Wyatt Stone and Brandon French. And let me tell you, this thing is an absolute rocket. It is basically a Gen 3 version of the Aereo Cyclone. That's how loud it is. It's louder than the Cyclone, louder than the Boomstick. I think it is the loudest paddle I have ever hit in my life. I was playing last night and I hit a ball right next to my partner, and she said that her ear was ringing. She's like, ow. This thing is pretty crazy. As soon as you hit the ball, you're like, whoa, what the heck is that? I'm not even sure how it's built right now, but it has definitely piqued my interest, and I'm excited to put some more games on it.
That's crazy. Did you ever find out if it was approved by USAP or is this UPA only?
UPA only right now.
Okay, and it looks like the 14 millimeter will be available once approved on there.
Yeah, this is just the 16 so far. So yeah, we gotta get some more details. Maybe have that guy on for a short little interview because it is very intriguing what he's doing. I've never hit a paddle like that before, so I'm excited to hear your thoughts when you hit it.
Yeah, it's interesting. Just from the description, it looks like a normal Gen 3 paddle poly honeycomb core.
That's what I was expecting. I had super low expectations, and then you hit it, and you're like, "What in the world?"
That's pretty crazy. Yeah, it looks like it's retail for 200 and it's on sale right now for 150.
There we go. Use code Volley Zone. All right, number 3, we have the Joola Pro V Cosmos. How could I not have this on the list after I just won a tournament with it? This isn't the one that I use, but I had some weights at the bottom here, and then I put a flick weight on the bottom, 6 grams, and man, it was very well balanced, very consistent. The ball went where I wanted it to. My dinks were fire. Everything about it was fantastic. You don't quite get as fast hands or as good flicks with the Perseus as you do with the Perseus, but everything else was just chef's kiss. This thing led me to a gold medal.
Yeah, definitely got to be high on your list after you win a tournament. No doubt about that.
Exactly. Number 2, this paddle also surprised me. Not as big of a hype online, but I was genuinely surprised and really enjoyed playing with this paddle so far. The Mavericks Havoc 2. Wow. It has an interesting shape that catches people's eyes. It pockets the ball fantastic. The swing weight is low, so it's fast in the hands, good with flicks. And my serves were so good yesterday. People were like, what the heck? So I think it just pockets the ball really well and puts a lot of spin on it because of that pocketing effect. And I'm very, very impressed with this paddle so far, and it's been very fun to play with. And it might become a new main in the bag. It depends, but it's up there because it's number 2. What about Nick? What have you heard about this paddle?
Yeah, definitely not as much talk online. I feel like when you have an interesting shape like that, you really need to get boots on the ground demos at clubs to sort of help because
Yeah.
if people just see them hanging up or online, it's not it's not an attractive shape, right? So people aren't going to be drawn to it for that reason. So um, I know the owner posted a video of him showing the difference that cutting off the top makes, and it's barely anything. But just removing that little bit of weight seems to help with the swing weight. But people have been saying it's performing pretty well. I had a question. So towards the top of the paddle on that diagonal angle, there's the graphic on it. How's the grit level difference between that top portion and the bottom?
The same.
Wow, that's good to know because typically when paddles have that graphic across the top or side, tends to lose a little bit of the grit feeling. But seems like some really good feedback on the Havoc from Mavericks so far. Zion, do you remember what the retail of this is?
I think it's only something like 165. It's nothing crazy. And I think it's very much worth it at that price point.
That's surprising for a full foam paddle. But yeah, really solid offering from Mavericks. Hopefully I can test one soon. I haven't seen anyone hitting around with it, but if I see somebody, I'll definitely ask.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's a popular paddle yet, but I think it would be if it got in more people's hands.
Yeah, I haven't really seen that brand overall much out in the wild.
Yeah, maybe if they had sent you one, you could rep them out in New York.
That's right.
All right, number one on the list, which is also very surprising, is the RPM V2. Why is this surprising? Because I was actually not a big fan of the V1. Mine core crushed way too fast and became soft and mushy way too fast. But this one is staying crisp. It's pocketing the ball amazingly. You get great dwell, great spin with it, and you get the power and the pop that you want to. And I like the upgrades they did with the whole look overall, with the handle, with the face, the sleeker edge guard. Everything about it is fantastic. This might be my favorite Gen 3 paddle I've ever hit. It's that good.
Yeah, RPM does it again with another solid offering on the V2 16mm elongated. I am getting some of the 14mm Ryan Fu version tomorrow. So you can definitely DM us if you're interested in those, but I'm pretty confident that's going to be the new main.
Yeah, I think the blue one looks really good. The Ryan Fu. It looks fantastic. I wish they made that colorway in the 16 because I'm a 16mm guy.
Yeah, I actually had somebody ask me yesterday. They were like, "Are they gonna make the 16mm version in the Ryan Fu colorway?" I was like, "I don't think James is gonna let another colorway be in his 16mm version."
No, but they do look fantastic. They do look really good. So, well, there's my top 10 of just in March. The Luz Pro Blade 2, the J6CRH, the Enhanced MPP, the Perseus Pro 5, the Vapor Power 2, the Nick Kyrgios paddle, the Combat, DEFCON 1, the Mavericks, the Cosmos, the Mavericks, and then the RPM. Wow, what a last like 2 weeks. It's been so many new paddles in the market. It's so hard to keep up.
So impressive that 7 out of 10 are could be potentially your new mains too, right? So these companies are not
Yeah.
releasing bad paddles, so it's getting increasingly difficult to choose.
Yeah. Last week on my last time on my top 10, the Aura was ended up being number one, spoiler alert. And this thing would probably rank around like the 7, 8, or the 8, 9 range on this list. That's how crazy all these new paddles are.
I don't envy the consumer that wants to try all of these paddles because it's like you buy one and then the next one is better and the next one is better and the next one is better. So really, really tough.
No kidding. Yeah.
Well, thanks for that top 10 list, Zion. That was really good. I know the viewers would definitely appreciate your feedback on all of that.
Absolutely, man. Well, thanks for this pod. I appreciate you and winning some 5-0 tournaments and being a good example for all of us. And I can't wait to tell you next week how the PPA went this weekend, and hopefully I grab a gold.
Yeah, definitely good luck. Have a ton of fun and ask Catherine Parenteau where she's going next.
Will do, buddy. Thanks, Nick. Talk to you next time.
Sounds good, Zion. Thank you, viewers, for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And we'll see you in the next one.
Please.
Peace.